everyone, my name is Courtney and this is What's for Din. Today I'm going to be showing you an all-time American favorite, chicken parmigiano. Now I'm not saying this is an authentic way, the Italian way to make it, because I'm not Italian, but this is my favorite way of making it, and it's actually really simple. A lot of times when you think of chicken parmesan, a lot of people think that it's intimidating to make, but it's really really easy. So first I'm going to show you how I make my tomato sauce. Now this is an all-purpose tomato sauce. I use this in lasagna, just regular spaghetti. You could use this to even put on a panini if you wanted to. But this, whenever I refer to using tomato sauce or anything like that in any of my videos, this is probably what I'm going to be using. So let's go over the ingredients and we'll get started. So the ingredients you need are basic and few. You're just going to need some extra virgin olive oil, onions, minced garlic, some parsley, a little bit of red wine, that's optional, some canned tomatoes, and some mixes of, just a mix of different spices, salt and pepper to taste. Now concerning the tomatoes, the best tomatoes to get for tomato sauce in general is Italian tomatoes. They're the best ones you can possibly find. Now I have two different brands here. I have the Cento Italian peeled tomatoes. These are easier to find in the grocery store than these ones because these are still from Italy. They're still super good, but you're able to find them in any grocery store. Now these are the plum type tomatoes. These are the absolute best. If you can possibly find San Marzano tomatoes from Italy, those are the absolute best. Now I could have gotten those, but I decided since I already had these that I was going to use those today. So the first step you want to do is kind of fun and kind of messy. Move this out of the way. You're going to put your tomatoes, because they come whole, and you want them to be whole. I'm going to dump these both in there. And there's also, if you can see in here, there's a little basil leaf that usually comes in. You're going to get your hands in there and be careful because it'll shoot out, but you really want to squeeze this and get that kind of, all those tomatoes broken apart. Okay, now that those are somewhat mashed down, they don't have to be perfect, you just don't want them to be whole. Let's go over to the stove and we'll start it up. Alright, so we're going to start by putting some olive oil in the bottom of our pan. I put quite a generous amount. And we're going to start by sauteing our onions until they're translucent. So we'll just throw those in. You can see my pan was nice and hot. Mix those up. And to this, we're going to add a little bit of salt, pepper, red pepper flakes, a couple hits, Italian seasoning, a little bit of cayenne, some rosemary, and I'm seasoning this layer. I've said in my other videos, it's all about seasoning every single layer of your food. It'll come out tasting delicious every single time, I promise you. Alright, so now our onions are somewhat translucent. I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic in, which you already know I like a ton of. Get that all out. Mix that in and let that cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Again, you don't want to burn the garlic. It will not taste good if you burn it. Okay. It's about where you want it. Garlic's just released its aroma. So now we're going to add just a splash. Sorry, I keep banging like a drummer. Just a splash of red wine. You don't have to do this part. Now we're going to turn up the temperature just a little bit and let this reduce slightly. This just adds a little bit more depth to the flavor. You really don't need to, but I like to. I have the red wine, so I might as well use it. If you don't have it, don't feel the need to go out and buy some just to make your sauce. It's not a big deal. So just let this reduce. Alright, that's about where we want it. It's only reduced for about a minute there. But you don't want a ton of liquid gathering on the bottom of your pan, otherwise your sauce will be super watery. Alright, almost the final part. Let's add in our tomatoes and try not to get splashed. Holy cow, mission accomplished. Can you believe it? Alright, to this we're going to add some salt because mine is unsalted. The tomatoes are unsalted. Some red pepper flakes. regular black pepper, Italian seasoning, cayenne, rosemary. Oh, actually, you know what? I made a little mess here, so I'm just going to use this. And I got stuff on my hand. Rosemary, and we'll just give that a nice mix. It looks pretty. And then we're going to let this come up to a simmer, and then we'll add our parsley. All right, now that this is simmering ever so slightly, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of parsley. It just gives it a little extra kick of fresh flavor. Now, this is the part where you would add a couple basil leaves if you had them. But right now it's really cold where I live and there's not really any fresh basil around. So I'm not going to force it and buy wilting basil leaves. So I just add a little bit of parsley and you're still good to go. No matter what, these tomatoes are just so delicious. The sauce is going to taste good no matter what. So we're going to let this come up to a simmer. Put a lid on it and let it sit for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. The longer that you can let it simmer, the better it's going to taste. And then we'll go over to the table and assemble our chicken parmigiano. So now that you have your sauce simmering on the stove, you want to make sure that your oven's preheated to 425 degrees and you have a big pot of water getting hot on the stove because it takes a long time for that to boil. So we're going to start on the breading for the chicken. Now I make my own breadcrumbs. You can buy yours at the store if you want to, but since I have some bread that's getting kind of old laying around, I'm just going to use my own. So I just have some just regular bread. This isn't toasted, nothing. It's just regular bread, and I'm going to puree it in my blender. So I'm going to start off by adding this all in without making a massive mess. This isn't any special kind of bread. It's just normal bread. I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to blend this up first. And the cool part is you can season your breadcrumbs the way you want if you do it yourself. So. All right, now that that's done, we're going to add some fresh garlic. I didn't chop this or anything, I just peeled this, so we're just going to throw that in there. Add some salt, pepper. So the same seasonings that I used in the sauce I'm using here too, because these are my favorite. Italian seasoning, rosemary, cayenne pepper. I'm running out, as you can see. I use this stuff a lot. It's empty. It's okay, you won't be able to tell. Right, and then grind this up. All right, that's nicely blended together, and the garlic will just make it taste even better. And there's no chemicals in my breadcrumbs, no ma'am. So just make sure there's nothing sticking. I'm going to put this on the plate. So now that our breadcrumbs are done, we have about 2 eggs that I just beat together in a pan, some flour, and then my chicken breast. Usually for chicken parmesan, you'd beat these nice and thin, but the difference between my chicken parmesan and the traditional one is I bake mine. You can saute it in the pan if you want to, but I just like to bake it because it's easy. I can just throw it in the oven and then be done with it. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to start by seasoning the flour and the egg. Give that a mix. Okay, and then give this a little mix. Everything will be well seasoned. Okay, and I'm gonna get my pan ready, and then I just have a little bit of parchment paper so that it's an easy cleanup. Set that aside. So we're gonna start by taking our chicken breast. leave one hand clean and leave one to do the dirty business. So you just dredge it in the flour. My oven's preheated. Make sure you get it nice dredged. Shake off the excess. Now you go in the egg. Make sure it's coated evenly. You do a couple flips. And then over to the breadcrumbs. I just kind of press it down so it grabs all those breadcrumbs. And then I use my free hand that's clean, because this obviously gets all gunky, to add and kind of press in those breadcrumbs on the side. Shake it off. Make sure you're getting it evenly coated. And then shake off the excess. And then place it in our pan. And do the same thing with the next one. All right, now our chicken's nice and breaded. I'm just going to take a little bit of extra virgin olive oil and kind of coat that in the top. And then that's it. And we're going to put it in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. So it depends. Get a thermometer and make sure that your chicken's at least 160 degrees, and then it'll be cooked all the way through. So once those are cooked, we're going to take them out and put some cheese on it. But until then, putting it in the oven. All right, so now our chicken's above the 160 degree mark. It's nice and crispy on the outside. Just take a look at that. Woo! And it smells good in here. So we're gonna just add some mozzarella, some mozzarella cheese. I'm just gonna put that right on top. Try to evenly coat it. That one fit perfect. It's like doing a puzzle. Okay, and then to that, I'm going to add some Parmigiano. Got my little nifty grinder here. Ordered it on Amazon. Amazon's the greatest, isn't it? Just a little bit, because Parmesan, it tends to be a little salty. All right, now we're going to put this back in the oven until it's a little bit bubbly and just a little brown on the top. Okay, our noodles are done. They're cooked al dente. Our sauce is done. I checked it if it needed any more salt or pepper, and I didn't end up having to add anything because it was already salted well. And then our Parmigiano is all nice and melted, and there's little brown spots on the top. It's perfect, and it's crisp and crunchy without needing to fry it. So let's go ahead and plate this up. I'm so excited to... Really? Thanks. Can you just have those days? This is one of those days. All right, plate that up. Oh yeah. We're just gonna add some of this sauce right all over top of that. Oh yeah. And just add a little bit of fresh parsley. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful. You know you want to try that. Probably super hot, but I'm going to bite into it anyway. Let's see what the chicken looks like on the inside. See the chicken? Ooh, look at this stringy cheese. It's still moist. It's not dried out. It just falls right apart. Take a little bit of spaghetti. That's so good. You get the crunch of the outside of the chicken. The cheesiness is just out of this world. The sauce is amazing. I could eat 3 plates of this, no problem. Probably feel sick afterwards, but it's delicious going down, that's for sure. So if you like my recipe, please share it with me. As usual, I'm listing all the ingredients below in the description box. And share with me on Instagram. Please subscribe because I have several videos that I upload per week. New recipes, trying to get more and more out. I think I upload at least 5 a week. So definitely subscribe because there's more good stuff coming your way. But thanks for watching. Bye.